Hot Takes is back. How are we, KJ?
Depressed and hating football. That is anything to do with Man United. Just nah, man. But other than that, life is good, you know.
Yeah, life is good. Life is good. How about you, Cole? You good?
I'm not depressed yet. Give me a couple hours.
All right, good, mate.
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
I always love a woman from I'm from the East End, girl from the estate that would be happy for you to call her bruv. I don't know why. You all right, bruv?
Yeah, all right, mate. You're all right.
Like
You're
it.
all right, Del boy.
I know. Like it. Big weekend of football.
I don't know about you, but is it really that big? Really?
It is. First of all, Merseyside derby.
Okay.
We'll touch on the lesser rival, well, not the lesser rivalry, but the mid-off later. We'll talk about, as I've dubbed it, micro penis FC. That's what it is, right? Merseyside derby, Liverpool in the ascendancy, beaten City in the FA Cup, destroyed Man United, embarrassed us, baptized us, engulfed us in flames. They now go up against one of the worst teams in Europe right now at the elite level. Anyone see Everton stopping this Liverpool run?
I do, but that's not based off of anything factual. It's not based off of any kind of tactical analysis. It's just the swings and roundabouts of the Premier League, to be honest with you. I personally want Everton to stay up, so I think it's more hope. It's more hope.
Listen, I want Everton to stay up because they are prime Barclays. They are prime Barclays, and Everton need to stay up. I beg, Frank, please do your job for once in your life. Do your job. Keep Everton up and then get sacked. That'd be great.
It'd be so difficult.
But they are not beating Liverpool. Listen, I know people say the derbies, that they can raise their
leveler.
But their level is so low.
That is true.
Even if they raise their level tenfold, they're still losing.
Was their last game United? Everton. Have they played since?
No, because the FA Cup week. No, I don't think they played the weekend just gone. I don't remember if they did. It's gone out my mind.
They might be buzzing.
Where they've got, is it at Anfield? Someone check. I swear it's at Anfield. I could be wrong.
I will.
I can look at so many fixtures and stuff. You end up losing Sunday. It's at Anfield, yeah.
It's Anfield.
Okay. Maybe I'll check.
Their record there is. But the one thing I would say, Everton have been terrible.
Yes.
But their best two performances in the lots under Frank were their 1-0 victory against Man United.
Not hard.
And when they almost got something against City. They kept City out. They kept City at bay. That's the only way they're going to get something out of this game is if they are so compact and hard to break down that Liverpool can't score. However, I still think that's a 1,000,000-to-1 shot.
It definitely is.
It's one of these games where it's Everton are so bad and Liverpool are so good. The derby isn't going to level it. Emotion isn't going to level it. A bad tackle isn't going to level it. It doesn't matter if the pitch looked like a farm. Turfed up, divots everywhere. Nothing's level in this. I cannot see anything other than Liverpool scoring. They'll be 3-0 up at half time against this Everton team.
No, they're going to destroy them. There is and what's going to make it even worse? Everton will still perform better than Manchester United, and will still get panned. But at least they would have performed. They will perform the best of their ability. Right now, their defense is all over the place. Their midfield is, I don't know what they're doing. They've got Dele Alli, Van der Beek on loan to do basically nothing. You've got Decore and Allen and all the men running around trying their best, isn't it?
I think they've got a few injuries as well to their midfield because they had that younger guy come in for the United game. I think if you're thinking of it, if we're being 100% serious, Liverpool should be winning this game at home at Anfield. But, if you're, Everton don't really have, they do have things to lose in the context of things, but at the same time, everyone's expecting them to lose. They're probably not half believing it themselves, which in a way could work in their benefit. And, things can happen. If Liverpool get a red card or something like that, it's those kind of territory we're in.
A penalty in the first 10 minutes, a red card, and then 3 of Liverpool's best players got injured. It's got to be so many things go against Liverpool for them to drop points.
The only thing that I can see going in their favour is the boost that they're getting from Sean Dyche getting sacked from Burnley and knowing that they have a chance for one team at least to be worse than them. and then they can stay. And
Yeah,
they'll get a draw.
That's what might save them. But yeah, it's one of those games where I'd love it to be a competitive Merseyside derby that you can sit down and actually enjoy. But it is. I'm 99% sure it's going to be an absolute pamming. Another one of those days where you just look at this Liverpool team and there'll be another record broke, another goal scoring record broken, and stuff like that. But this does lead into the first hot take of the show. So the first, and this is a hot take, what I call by implying something. So this isn't a direct claim, but we all know what's being said here. So this is from Duncan Alexander that says, Sadio Mane has now scored as many Premier League goals as Ryan Giggs, but in 374 fewer games. So that's his statement. He's stating a fact, and it's very cleverly done here by who assumes a journalist. Yeah, he's an author, writer, broadcaster. So I'm just going to say journalist.
Yeah,
he's a blue tick anyway. He's implying, in my opinion, that Mane, because we've seen this for a number of days from Liverpool supporters, that Mane should be looked at as a better left winger or left forward or left-sided player than Ryan Giggs. You look at a lot of the replies from Liverpool fans. There's a hell of a lot of, and I know Ryan Giggs is in the mud right now. I know that he is on the edge of being completely cancelled, but I'm just looking at his footballing side here. There's a lot of response. He was overrated. It was Fergie's teams that carried him. He didn't really achieve much. How has someone scored that many goals as you in 300 games less? They're implying that Mane has got a greater legacy or is a greater player in the Prem than Giggs. What's your take?
Foolishness. Absolute foolishness. Like, listen, first of all, Ryan Giggs, not my winger. I'm just going to say that right now. Not my winger, bruv. I don't rep him like that. But if we're going purely on football, I'm sorry. I love Sadio Mane. He's my guy and that, you know what I mean? Love what he does. Love how he plays. I wanted him at United when he was at Southampton. But just scoring so many goals in so many less games doesn't cut it. The man's won 1 Premier League, 1 Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a dog in this fight because I don't care for Liverpool or United either, but I'm inclined to agree. For me, I personally don't even like too tough comparing different generations of football because it's 2 different styles. It's very hard to directly compare.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a crazy stat. And I mean, props to Mane.
Yeah,
for me, and I know this can be controversial for some people, but for me, like, what are you walking away with? It's kind of like what you said. Is it 1 Prem, Champions League
against 13 Premier Leagues, people. 13. That's 2 Champions Leagues. Like the most second most appearances in Premier League history after Gareth Barry, right? Like the guy's longevity is ridiculous. Like you can't, I'm sorry, like it's gonna be very hard for many wingers in the Premier League to even touch what this man has done.
What's crazy about it is Mane is one of my favorite players to watch. I wanted him at Man United when he was at Southampton. I was gutted when we pulled out. I was even more angry when he went to Liverpool. I rate this guy. If you've watched the Football Terrace long enough, you know that I've always backed him on it. Let's just put trophies aside for a moment. Let's put aside the hot takes that Ryan Giggs was overrated. Let's put aside the hot takes that Ryan Giggs wasn't so important and integral to this Man United team. Let's ignore for a moment that Ryan Giggs started on the left, okay? And then as he got older and his body obviously got slower, he moved into central midfield and still dominated midfields in a team that won Premier Leagues. Let's ignore the fact that people are now saying that a lot of Fergie's Premier League trophies were won when the Premier League standards were much lower than they are now. This all builds into that narrative. There's a lot of talk right now, especially from City and Liverpool fans, that this is the best the Premier League has ever been in terms of quality. At the same breath, the same types of pundits and journalists pushing this will tell us that defending now is gone. Let's put all that aside, though. Ryan Giggs played the left side of midfield, and there's a graphic here that I'll show to you all. This shows the body of weight of the games he played at left midfield. He did play some positions in second striker role. He did play some in that kind of 06 to about 09 period. He played left winger. It wasn't quite an inside forward like we know them to be now, but he did do that in the latter stages of his career. But when he was a marauding left winger or left-sided midfield player for the first 10 to 12 years of his career, from like the early 90s until to the early mid 90s, he played on average 20 to 30 yards deeper and out wide hugging the touchline. The roles of an inside forward in the modern day game are different. It's like you do not compare a Mo Salah to a David Beckham. You do not compare a peak Cristiano Ronaldo as an inside forward or an Ian Robben to a David Beckham, because they were different positions, different roles, and the expectation of output from those players differed. Ryan Giggs, if you look at his goal scoring and his creativity records against other left-sided midfielders, stroke traditional wingers from his era, it was better than most in the creative element and about on par with most of them as goal scorers. Robert Pires, up until the inside forwards, like the Gareth Bales, the Ronaldos, the Alexis Sanchez's, Eden Hazard's, and now Mane and Salah's, Robert Pires, I think, scored around 12, 13 league goals in a campaign, and that was looked at as, from a winger, as astronomically high. And I think he did it once. I haven't checked the stats on that. What I hate about these takes is Mane should be celebrated for being Mane. He should be getting compared to Eden Hazard's, Alexis Sanchez's, his very own Mo Salah's, Cristiano Ronaldo's. He should be getting compared to inside forwards that play on the left or the right. If you want to do all inside forwards together or the right-hand side. It's like comparing an attacking midfielder to a defensive midfield player. Yes, on paper, they're all central midfield players. They all play central in midfield. But what David Silva was tasked with doing and what N'Golo Conte are tasked with doing are two very different things. And I don't like these lazy comparisons. And people will say, Terry, you're just defending him because he's Ryan Giggs and he's a Man United player. I would do this right across the board. There's no point. I wouldn't compare Mo Salah to Steve McManaman. I wouldn't do it because they're completely different football players with different roles.
And let's not forget, when people do this thing where recency bias kicks in, and apparently the player that you see now has been the player forever. So, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo, people say he's washed, he's old. Sometimes, hey, listen, Ronnie, I love you. But everyone makes a joke every now and then about like what he is now. But when we talk about his ability and he can't dribble, he's never been able to dribble, he's never been a good passer. I was like, bruv, the guy was one of the best wingers in the world. Like, he got his name for being a winger. This goal scoring poacher is a very, like, obviously modern thing because, again, his body just doesn't keep up with that play style and it must have to change. Same with Ryan Giggs. Because Ryan Giggs ended his career at 40 years old, he had to change his game. And then people use that as like, that is the Giggs that we've always seen. But look back at what was it to Arsenal in an FA Cup?
All right.
What he did?
All right.
You see Gareth Bale, yeah? You see Gareth Bale and that goal he did against Barcelona. Yo, who taught him how to do that? Yo, go watch Ryan Giggs.
Yeah, and I hear that. And like I say, listen, I'm not trying to put... Mane is one of the best inside forwards the Premier League has ever had. And it's one of those weird things, like when you do like combined 11s, now greatest ever 11s. When I see 4-3-3s with two inside forwards, I never put Ryan Giggs into that mix. I would look at Ryan Giggs maybe as a left-sided midfield player to go into that mix because he played left midfield. He didn't play. That's if you do a 4-3-3. If Ryan Giggs now was coming through, he probably would be turned into a left inside forward, like a young Ryan Giggs. But if he was playing that much further forward all game, every game, inside forwards don't have anywhere near as much defensive responsibility as they used to. He would have scored more goals early on because that would have been, and he wasn't a bad finisher. He used to play striker when we had injury problems for Man United and did okay at the job. The point is that his role was different. And I just think that we have this.
I think it's so hard to compare different areas of the Prem in particular, let alone European football. Like, I think we're all old enough to remember, especially you guys, old enough to remember.
Excuse me. I'm young.
Because there is recency bias, and I agree with that. But we're all old enough to remember and see the evolution of tactics and the Prem and how it's all changed.
And also, what happens is this: when you don't have players that fit into the great category from past eras, it's very easy to ignore that football has changed. So, for instance, Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, Man United fans probably have the catalogue of the best goalkeepers up into this recent era. So Van der Sar, Schmeichel, you've got David Seaman, Lehmann, you've got Petr Cech. I can't think of many goalies in their era that were better than them from other clubs. So for Liverpool and City fans, Alisson and Ederson are the best because they can play it, the way they play out from the back, the sweeper keeper element. Those goalies before them couldn't do it, but they weren't trained to do it because that wasn't a tactic in football. this will happen. The Liverpool fans and City fans will reject this now, but in 10 years' time, when football evolves again, and then there's a new way of playing. Midfielders are now doing something new. I don't know what that's going to be, and there's a guy that's now doing it, and he's now scoring and assisting at a rate that's far superior to some of Liverpool's great midfielders now. It'd be like, no, but it was different then. The role was like, oh no, our defenders, our midfielders were more tasked with covering the defensive positions for the fullbacks to go back and create. It's just changed in football now, and the defenders all stay back, and it's the midfielders that are creating again. Therefore, you can't say your midfielder is better than my midfielder because the role was different. And now see it, and that's when we know these things are true. But viewers, I want your take on that. Do you think Mane has surpassed Ryan Giggs in the Premier? I'm going to say what that journalist was alluding to. Has Mane's footballing achievements in the Premier League as a player and with the teams he's played for surpassed Ryan Giggs? Now, there is a big game at the weekend, and I want to talk Brentford-Tottenham after, because I think the Brentford-Tottenham game result could very much hinge on Arsenal versus Manchester United. How are you feeling about that, Cole?
I don't know. I really don't know, because Arsenal in this current moment I think we're just with you in the mud. And if you'd asked me this a month ago, I'd have been like, when we're approaching the United game from a month ago, I would have been like, yeah, we probably have already got top 4 in the bag. I don't see you guys having any consistency. You know, you're at the Emirates. It's a win for us, but at the minute, I just see nothing from either side. And it might turn out to be a great game of football because we're both that bad. Like, that's our level. Like, I don't even think it probably won't be a dross game. It will be a really competitive game because we are each other's level. And I don't even think there's a home advantage at the minute for us, if I'm being 100% honest. Because of how bad we are right now. I'm not even trying to undersell it. I'm not trying to undersell it.
It's called Arsenal Judge. It's called Arsenal Judge, man. Listen, Arsenal at the Emirates.
No, we have been good, but I don't even like when United comes to the Emirates. I always have this flashback to when I think it was under Van Gaal, and you had the audacity to rock up with a 3 at the back. I think we were pelting your...
No, Jose.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And then you ended up winning.
Was that the day? I swear that happened twice under Jose, where De Gea had the games of his life.
Yes.
And I mean, I remember that double save where Alexis Sanchez followed it up and he got his foot to it. Listen, I feel like this... I hear where you're coming from. I feel like this game... I think this game's going to be entertaining. I predicted on the 12th man 1-1. This comes out after the 12th man. It could be more, though. There could be 2 or 3 goals for each team. But I don't think it's going to be a game where it's like, you know, when City and Liverpool played recently, they've had narrow draws, Liverpool winning. There's been great football from both sides. It's like, wow, this is going to be the opposite way. There's going to be goals, but it's going to be because of poor positioning, mistakes, and issues like that. It's going to be one of those games where it will be entertaining to watch, but kind of for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense.
No, it will be a circus. Absolute circus. The clowns will be on show, and we're there just to laugh. I
think we have less clowns. I think that's the only reason why I'm like...
Literally, we as Arsenal and United fans, we should not go into this game serious. We all should just sit there and just, you know what, let's have a laugh. Let's just have a good time, because our teams ain't about serious football.
How times have changed. This is how we're talking about Arsenal United.
I know. Remember the days where, like, I remember Van Nistelrooy used to get squared upon by your team, and then we used to back. But listen, there's going to be none of that. Like, it's going to be none of that. Man United are the worst football team in the league right now. Like, legit, any single team can rock up to us, home or away, and expect 3 points.
Play for us. I look at it this way: if Arsenal drop points to us. Look, we haven't seen what's happened with the Chelsea game yet. I do expect Chelsea to win because they nearly always beat you at Stamford Bridge. That's 4 defeats on the bounce, if that's happened, and 5 defeats in 6 games. even if you beat Chelsea and lose to us, it's still going to be 5 defeats in 7 games. That is like, honestly, I remember we did that video, done very well when we did the round table event and we had the boys from Big Six Bands come on. And I remember you saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially it will be an embarrassment for us if we don't make the top 4 from that position, the form you were in and everything else.
Yes.
To fast forward from that point to now and to lose 4 or maybe 5 games, the fact that you could end up potentially losing 5 or 6 on the bounce, do you honestly see it? Should there be a way back for Arteta from that? Not will there be, but in your opinion, should he keep his job if that happens?
For me personally, no. Do you know why I'm saying no? I probably could have had a little bit more compassion if we're talking 2 years ago. But I'm not. I don't want to swear, but I've had enough. I've had enough of Arsenal. Like, this is us being outside the elite level has been longer than United in terms of when we've actually been competing for Premier League titles. It's been much longer.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. That is true.
And I appreciate the club has invested in a lot in Arteta, and I appreciate this is a project. But if we're outside the top 4, so the best we can hope for is 5th. If we're not finishing in the top 4, that's the best. That's the best thing. So it'll be 8th, 5th. And I know you can get into nuances of maybe points and, take the season into context and yada, yada, yada. But I'm sick of it. I can't lie. I'm sick of it. And I like Arteta. I do. I'm just not sure I'm convinced that he can take us to the next level, because they made deliberate choices in January in the position that we were in, where we were never meant to be in the top 4 race, and we were in it. And I'm a strong believer in, if the goalposts have moved, jump with it, mate. Like, just because we were expecting 6th at the beginning of the season, you have to take the season for what it is. And I don't know, maybe I'm feeling a little bit more emotional right now because we've lost like 4 games, but I don't know.
I feel there's part of me that times that I feel for Arteta, because it's kind of like he's clearly a young coach. He's clearly got ideas that he wants to do, but he hasn't got the experience to implement it fully, especially with older players. And then also you ran by the conkeys. You know what I mean? I can't sit as a United fan saying, "Oh yeah, look at your club," when I'm ran by. I can't even say their name no more. I ran by them, innit? Like when we ran by who we're owned by, I can't sit there and say, "Oh yeah, haha, look at you." Like, nah, like
we're in a similar situation.
We are the same thing. I told you on Twitter, we're the Spider-Man memes pointing at each other. That's what we are, isn't it?
True.
So Arteta is a young coach who he tried to take something on early, something big early, like a Pep, like a Zidane, and just hasn't lived up to that hope. And will he become a great manager? Maybe.
But to be fair to him,
not at Arsenal.
He has turned things around in terms of, I think I might have said this on the show before. I remember being at the Emirates under Unai Emery towards the end, and I've been going to Arsenal ever since I was a child, even when it was back at Highbury. And I have never, ever been to an Arsenal home game and experienced that level of toxicity. It was awful. And even if we don't finish in the top 4, I don't think we're even matching close to that. So yeah, the little bits that he's tried to do around the culture of the club, I don't think he's finished that. But I think he could leave us in a better place for someone else to take us out.
I feel like I hear you. I think that's right, but it's when someone goes. So if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left Man United after the Europa League final defeat against Villarreal, and we bought in Ten Hag then, and we gave him 3 or 4 players, we would have had 10 times better season. We still may have had to have grown to 2 or 3, another season or 2 under him to be able to compete against his brilliant Liverpool and City team. I think giving a manager that the players had lost faith in a new contract got to a point where they were like, it's not going to work here. I was just looking here at some of Arsenal's stats. Your worst losing streak in the league ever was 7 defeats on the bounce. And that was in between 12th of February 1977 and the 12th of March 1977. I don't think you've ever lost more than 4 Premier League games on the bounce. As far as I can, just looking at statistics, I might be wrong. If you do lose 4 and then you were to go on and lose 5 against Manchester United, it would be unprecedented in the Premier League era. But for that to happen, when all the PR coming out of your club is that it is, we are over this and we are on the way up. I get you're going to get bad patches of form, but this is the worst form. I
mean, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Southampton,
and then
look, listen. You can accept the Liverpool and Chelsea defeats in there, but this is the thing. A few months ago, it was the this team's fine now against the lesser sides. We now need to start improving against the big teams. If you're suddenly not fine against the lesser sides and you're still not beating the big teams, but yet you're all excited about your squad, you're all excited about the transfer policy, you're all excited about the direction you're going in, there's still something amiss. It doesn't make teams. Liverpool, when they were growing under Klopp, they didn't lose 4-5 on the bounce against teams that they should be beating. So look, it's an interesting one for me. You've got Man United side of things. You've got a hot take there, haven't you? What? You told me the hot take. Maguire hot take.
Oh, no, that wasn't my hot take.
Oh, yeah, but you've got a hot take you found. Yeah, that's what I mean.
All right, cool. Listen to this, Colleen. You need to listen to this, Colleen.
All right, okay.
This hot take doesn't even come from our fan base. This comes from an Arsenal fan.
All right.
But I don't know if you know him.
Is he sitting in this room now?
No, he's not. He's not sitting in his room now.
Igal is here. Igal is here, people. Igal is here.
But listen to this, yeah? Have you heard of No New Thing?
No.
He's got a picture of Pep like all the time. Like,
yes.
Yeah. And he has a parody account that someone made of him called
Yes.
Yeah. So he says this. I know it's impossible, but Arsenal should make a cheeky swap offer for Maguire and Gabriel. Put Maguire in our system, Gabriel in theirs, and watch the stunning transformation of football opinions on football Twitter. Ten Hag won't agree to it, though, a proper coach. Cool. He then goes on to say this. People don't realize how good Maguire is. Always had a target on his back after his transfer fee. People waiting for him to fail. He has a funny face. In a dominant possession system that doesn't concede many transitions and a sweeper keeper, Maguire is a perfect fit. Maguire, he says, he says Maguire is perfect, a perfect fit. Yeah.
Okay, I have several thoughts from that. I'm not going to lie to you. Maguire's not a perfect fit, and we know that's not going to happen. And if that was to ever happen, I would burn every pink boot in this country.
I would actually go over to Man United,
drive him down to your side,
and I'll be like, Harry, thanks for your service, but it's time to go. And that, you know what I'm saying?
I think I said this on the last United show that we did on the Terrace. Harry Maguire's been awful for United. No doubt about it. Awful. Even the simple things, awful. I do think if he was at another club, he would perform better.
Yeah.
On the pure fact that United, since Fergie left, I can't think of one player that you've brought in that has either maintained a good level from the club that they had previously or got better. I can't think of one. Not even one. And there's a lot of transfers there. So I appreciate that Maguire probably would do better in another system at another club with another manager. However, that sure as hell ain't gonna be Arsenal. I think he does have a good. I think he does have a good level. I don't even think but that good level, I don't think is a top 4, top 6 player.
But nah, he is Europa League.
He's a Leicester. He literally is a Leicester level player.
Yeah. He, in fact, that's why he's so. This is the thing. That's why he's so good for England. Back 3, 2 DMs in front of him, sweeper keeper behind him. So there's elements of that tweet that are right in the correct system. Maguire is a very good centre back in that system. How do we know that? Because we've seen it at Leicester and we've seen it for England. So that isn't a hot take. If you just drop your anguish and annoyance towards Maguire for a second, you would realize that. The problem is for Arsenal, you are not looking to play a compact style 38 games a season. Do you know who I think he could do very well in a system for? A bigger team, Conte's Tottenham. Put him inside back 3 in a Conte system where it's going to be compact and then everybody goes and counters. And
I think he works better in a back 3.
Yeah.
He'll work better in that. He could work in that system. He'll do brilliantly for a Sean Dyche team.
Yeah.
When he has to do one-on-one defending and step out, and there's no one behind him, and there's 40 yards of space behind him. He's horrendous. He's absolutely horrendous.
I don't think it's not even just the system. I think as well, United's too big of a club for him.
No,
I don't think he can take that pressure.
And then he also has the armband on top, which makes it even worse.
I remember when Ollie gave that, and I don't know why I remember it. I think it's because I remember looking at it and I laughed as a rival fan. I was like, this is a stupid decision. But in the club, 6 months at that point?
Yeah,
he wasn't there long.
Because Ashley Young was captain and he left. So it was so confusing. It was so confusing. Yes, he wore the armband a few times for Leicester. I get it. But when you're talking about the biggest football club in the world,
Mm.
when you're talking about a trophy drought, when you're talking about a player who has never touched a trophy and also has had relegations on top of that, he should not be captain of the football club.
I blame his family.
What, for being born?
No.
For all of them looking like Harry Maguire.
No, I tell you what, I blame them. they all look very similar. I'm not even having a dig at them. He did that interview with Sky, where he basically, again, I'm paraphrasing here, but I'm not as bad as you're all saying I am because I get picked. For me, but it reeks of. And I'm going to ask you this question, Colleen, because you're a girl, and generally in my life, girls have more girlfriends who think they can sing when they can't, than boys have male friends that think they can sing. But have you got a friend who thinks she can sing, or he that thinks he can sing, but they're bang average, but they think they're amazing? Have you got any friends like that or come across?
Yeah, probably,
like that? Yeah, I have.
I'm probably that friend.
Yeah, you're the one. That's why you don't know. That's you. But my point is this, though, right? What happens a lot of the time is it's parents and people close to that individual that keep telling me, you're amazing, you're going to make it. Then they go on the stage at the X Factor and get laughed at. And all I ever see when Maguire gets picked for England or he has a good game is the whole family come out with, you deserve this, you're amazing, don't ignore everyone, you're brilliant. And it's almost a case of Maguire needs his mother or father, brother or sister, to grab hold of him and say, you're playing really shit. You need to hold your hands up and admit that you are a problem for Man United right now. You need to stop defending yourself publicly. He actually needs someone close to him that loves him, that he listens to almost shake him into gear a bit and say, you are not it. Now, that's a very tough message to give to somebody that you love. The problem is, I feel like he only listens to people that he loves, and they're telling him he's absolutely amazing. And what it's doing, it's leading to arrogance. He isn't working
what that interview was giving.
He's not working on improving his game, and therefore he's deteriorating even quicker.
Yeah. But I think it's mad as well in terms of the reason why. You gotta look, why is his family reacting like that? It's because he gets over scrutinized and he gets over analyzed to the point where they are now probably to the point where, no, I'm not gonna take this no more. No, Harry, they are gonna try to do that thing what fans do. Like they have one side that gets flooded, and then they're actually not going to counterbalance it by flooding it with the other side. And it's the whole scenario around Harry Maguire has just been terrible. It's so toxic on both sides.
On top of that, though, when I used to have problems at work when I was younger, I always used to find my dad.
Only when you were younger? Problems at work?
I'm 30. If I have a problem at work now, I'm not a 20-year-old. I don't
Right, if he has a problem at work, he has to go talk to the boss, which is himself.
Right.
But in the mirror, fix up, Terry.
I feel like that issues happening, right? And I got to a point where I stopped ringing my dad but as I got older, my dad was doing me a favor. I'd phone up my dad and go, my boss has been well out of order. And my dad would be like, so, but what did you do? How did you respond? But why was your boss being like this? And I felt like he was defending my boss or a colleague that upset me. He wasn't. He was making me reflect on my attitude and my behavior and my response and what I could do and take away from it to make my application of myself better. And half the time he made me realize or think, yeah, do you know what? My boss was a bit out of order, but actually I put my boss's back up. If I'd have done these 3 or 4 things, the situation wouldn't have arose and then I wouldn't feel this way. And that's why I say I blame his family, because my dad has got my back. But if I'm in the wrong or I'm not performing well or I'm doing something out of line, my dad won't blindly back me because he's my father. He will tell me I'm wrong. And he's done it to me before. I'm like, oh, my dad will have my back. Like, no, you get out there and face up to it. You made the mistake. You own it. And I look at Maguire and I don't feel like the people closest to him are being honest with him. Just like those singers that turn up at the X Factor, they can't sing, but then the mum walks out, my daughter's a brilliant singer. She isn't. She sounds like a cat having its bollocks chopped off. But for 20 years, they've told her that she's going to be the next Mariah Carey. Maybe Jim Carrey, but you ain't Mariah Carey. It's not going to happen.
He needs to leave Man United for himself, for his family.
Why does he keep? I mean, I'm coming from an outside. Obviously, we could talk about this forever. Yeah. But I don't know what is going on inside on the coaching aspect, because he is right in the simple sense. Factually, he does keep getting picked by everyone.
You know what's going on? Eric Bailly exists, Phil Jones exists, and Lindelof exists. And it's like, I personally think everybody can be one of our best centre backs.
That's
but
what
he's
I
never-
think.
He's never fit, and plus he's mad. So you know what I mean. You never know what you're gonna get.
It's just it's a combination of everything,
Yeah.
and we'll probably never find out. But viewers, what do you take? What's your thoughts on that Arsenal take? Would he do that Arsenal Maguire take? Would he do well in a better system, and could that be Arsenal? Now, just some of the other games that are going on this weekend: Brentford versus Tottenham. Quick roundup of these fixtures. Who's winning that game?
Spurs is winning, but I would love some Eriksen heartbreak. Oh, listen, if Eriksen came back just to sink their hopes of top 4 just a little bit, it would be absolutely beautiful. The Spurs are getting top 4. Let me just get that out now. Spurs are getting
You're
top
very
4.
brave to be saying that next to me, and you've got a good couple hours left here. With me.
Listen, no. I'm being what Harry Maguire's family is not being to Harry Maguire. You are not getting top 4. It is going to be Spurs. I need Eriksen just to turn up and do something magical and just dent it.
And I think it also depends on what Tottenham's turning up. If we're being real, like
that's true.
Because I mean, recently they've been decent apart from obviously losing at home to Brighton. But prior to them going on winning 2-3 on the bounce, we were talking about them being the traffic light because it was like lose, win, lose, win. It depends on what Tottenham's going to turn up.
True.
The Tottenham that will turn up depends on the Man United Arsenal results. Why did you score predictions? If Arsenal or Man United win, Spurs win. If we draw and both drop points and then it's looked at as a great result for Tottenham, less pressure, Brentford will beat them.
So you're saying Spursy?
Because the pressures, it's like there's less pressure, but but it works in reverse for Tottenham. It's like, oh my God, we're now expected to win, expected to deliver because there's less pressure because neither team has won. That's when Spurs become Spursy. So Spurs should win, but if there's a draw in the Man United Arsenal game, they'll lose. Chelsea, West Ham. What are we saying?
Who's at home?
Chelsea
are at home.
You know what? Yeah, I can see a draw. I can see a draw. Let's be honest. Chelsea have not been playing well.
West Ham have got their eye on the Europa League.
And I think they should go after that Europa League.
Oh, 100%.
Go after
They can't snop up a
go and
trophy.
get Champions League football for West Ham and fly the Europa League. I need to see a group stage of Real Madrid. Who else is going to be in there? Flipping, I don't know, Sevilla and West Ham.
You do realize that if West Ham win the Europa League, they're going to pop 1.
Oh, even better.
Which means they avoid a big boy.
Oh, even better. Even better. I need West Ham.
Can you imagine Champions League nights at
Mark Noble come out of retirement for just the midweek games.
You know, it's funny, right? I would kind of like to, just as I like seeing, we see it every now and then. You see like a team from Spain or Germany that you've never really heard of, or you've heard of them, but they're like in the background. You never really focused on them, and they suddenly there. I remember in Germany a few years ago when I think it's pronounced Graffiti. So I know there's a striker called Graffiti. Wolfsburg. When
they blew a little bit.
They blew up for a couple of teams.
Yeah, same with Leipzig as well.
And I think the striker was Graffiti, and I want to say Dzeko played with him actually. I think it was a young Dzeko. I could be so wrong.
Did play for Wolfsburg.
Yes, I think it might have been that point. But I remember it was kind of like, I didn't really know who they were, and it was kind of nice to watch it. And there's a part of me that's like, West Ham, I've never thought of them as a Champions League team. I never thought about them being at that level. For them just to have it would just be it would be more for me seeing the fans enjoy those nights. Because I wonder, we're spoiled. Our age group, we've seen our teams in the Champions League many, 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 many times. Our team's won it 3 times. You've been in it loads. To imagine a fan base who have never once in 100+ years of history been in it. There's a part of me that would just love to see their faces.
It reminded me of when Leicester were in it, and they actually got to the quarters. And I remember they got drew. I think it was Sevilla in the round of 16, and we were like, "Yeah, this is them." Like Sevilla are used to European football, and they beat them. I was just like, you know what? Yeah, go all the way, Leicester. Go all the way.
Because
so I would like.
There's no doubt. In terms of the league game, though, I think. I kind of feel like West Ham are putting all their eggs in the Europa League. So they're going to be resting. They've got barely any centre backs ready for their first leg semi-final. I think they're going to put all their eggs into that, into that basket now and go for the Europa League. They're not going to make the top 4. They're a little bit too far away. So I'm going to go with a Chelsea 2-0 win.
Yeah, Chelsea win.
No, I can see them drawing.
Really?
I just don't think Chelsea have been playing great. And I think West Ham, with this boost of...
You never know. Arsenal might thump It's Chelsea tonight at Stamford Bridge. They might need to,
Okay, again. I'm gonna be the mom that doesn't look after her kids on X Factor. You're not doing that. But yeah, I think West Ham can do it. I think they can get a draw.
And a final score prediction. Now, they led this to last, and it's no disrespect to City. They're playing Watford at home. They're winning, yeah?
3-4-0.
Okay, so we're not on the Bet Victor show anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But why the odds are like 7 or 8? I just want to know. You know what I mean? Like, I reckon they could do it.
Probably like 50 to 1.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's a guess of the odds there. But yeah, look, they could batter them. They could absolutely batter them. And they're going to want to respond after going out of the FA Cup. They're going to have that disappointment. Again, though, they'll probably slightly rotate because they've got Real Madrid. And that's the one great thing for Liverpool in the league. I don't think they should be rotating for their first leg Champions League game because it's Villarreal.
Right, don't underestimate that yellow submarine, boy. You know what I mean?
My babes, Unai Emery.
Listen,
come on.
I know you love him,
Come
but
on.
listen, you can when you're the best team in the world right now on form and you're managed by Jurgen Klopp, it's not about underestimating. You're 3 or 4 of your second string going into your first team will beat Villarreal. They just have too much for them. Like, in fairness, with Villarreal, we beat them this season in the Champions League
twice,
and we outplayed them in the cup final. We just didn't finish our dinner. Liverpool will do to them what we did to them in the final in terms of general play, but they'll score. Like, I don't think it'll be a problem for them.
And
really.
I would like Villarreal to go all the way, to be honest.
I would. I mean, that stops the quad.
Yeah.
It stops City
I don't want an English club
another
winning
one.
I don't know.
And again, Real Madrid are the only ones that can do it, but then that puts their man on 14. I'd love Villarreal. Again, underdog story, you know.
You see, there's still part of me that still burns from that European.
I remember that penalty shootout. Oh my God.
I want the demise so bad, but at the same time, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I just need to let them just do their thing, man.
Well, there we go. Listen, viewers, we want your score predictions. We want any hot takes that you've got as well. Put them into the live comment section below. Colleen, KJ, thank you very much for joining us for this week's episode. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.